What's up, guys? The DB Grinder here, back at it again with another video, and this time I am here with.
Kristijan Masic.
And what'd you play and what'd you place?
So I played Marincess at YCS Bologna and I finished 53rd after Swiss, so I managed to make it top 64.
Alright, and you want to do any shoutouts before we hop in?
Definitely want to shout out two of my friends who came with me, Danon and Luca. Helped me a lot because the first day was 9 rounds, so it was like we played 12, like literally 12 hours of YuGiOh. So it was like any help, in between rounds, talk to people and stuff really helped me. So yeah.
Alright, and you want to hop right in?
Yeah, sure. So I played Marincess, and I felt like this was the best pick for this current YCS, as it's a hand trap format and not a board breaker. And I felt like Marincess was the best engine to go with lots of hand traps. As you can see, I played triple Nibiru, triple Droll, triple Ash, triple Veiler, triple Imperm, and one Mourner. So like one Marincess, any of them literally gets you to Link 3, which then gets you to Marincess Wave. That might not seem much, but like that's the worst case scenario when you open one Marincess and four hand traps, and that was actually enough to win lots of my games. While obviously going second, opening on average two hand trap was good enough to beat the current meta. So like for the so let's get started with Marincess. I played all 15 of them. The reason being is if you play any less, you will start opening too many hand traps or like talents or like engine requirements like dive and not be able to play. So like in the whole tournament, I've bricked in Swiss once, one game. That was one of the matches I lost, and I've bricked in top 30, top 64. So like only twice, which I'm pretty happy because every deck, whichever you play, will brick when you have so many rounds. I finished my record was 9 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. Losses were to one Runic, which played lava golems and stuff, and one was the rescue ace, which where I bricked, and draw was against Runic stun. So obviously, okay, once I bricked and 2 times Runic, which I wasn't prepared at all. I didn't expect Runics at all, to be honest. So I would adjust my side with it. Main deck, in my opinion, was perfect. Extra deck was perfect as well, but side deck was really bad. And I will say during the deck profile which cards I would put out and which I would put in. So I played 15 Marincess monster, no Signet mining. Signet mining is very bad. So like, even in perfect scenario, to activate Signet mining, you actually have to get rid of the hand trap. Because if you, let's say, open mining, one Marincess monster and triple hand trap, if you use mining, send Marincess monster, they ash you, the game is over. So like you actually have to send the hand traps, but that actually doesn't make sense because the whole point of the deck is actually hand traps. That's why you play it. Also, you start losing to Droll and Lockbird. Also, when you go second, you need every card in your hand to actually beat the opponent's board. So like silent mining was very bad, while the Marincess Mandarin, even though her effect is okay, it's the weakest of them all. It did come up a lot, but like on its own, if I open for handshop one Mandarin, that's a lot of follow-up plus Marincess Wave. That's the whole point of the deck, that one normal summon gets you to good enough of end board, follow-up, resilient to hand traps as well. And the best part is if you open more than one Marincess, your combo and how you play through the hand traps just gets better. Triple Nibiru, triple Droll. So these were kinda like luck based, because if you play against Unchained, Droll doesn't work. If you play against some other matchups, Nibiru doesn't work. But still, you have to play a certain amount of hand traps, for the whole deck to work. Triple Ash, triple Veiler, triple Mourner, triple Imperm, and one Mourner were the best ones. Like they always do something. I only play one mourner because it's once per turn. So if you open multiple in the main at least, if you open multiple, you can only use one. So the other one is basically brick. Also, the mourner against certain matchup does nothing. So that's my reasoning behind that. Triple talent. So you can play 19 hand traps in the Marincess and it does work. But but you don't have unlimited amount of good hand traps. You have these which I played, and again Nibiru and Droll are like half. Sometimes they are insane or they don't do anything. So like if I put the talent away, what do I main? Diddy Crow. If you main Diddy Crow, then you play against Rescue Ace. It does nothing. So like I felt like the best card will be like talent because everyone is playing hand trap. It's very good going second, and it was a good card definitely. It wasn't as good as I would think it would be because I played lots of tournament, and like somehow I think they were playing against. They were trying to avoid it. So in my main phase, they were not really using tier cash or something similar. Double Desires is a god card. Like whenever I open it, it was really good. And for engine requirements, field spell, double dive, and one wave. Those cards were perfect. I wouldn't recommend having any other ratio. I tested double wave, but then you just get to the problem. Like obviously, when you go first, opening wave is better than hand trap. But I'm always looking like worst case scenario. Like I'm losing die roll. I have to go second and win like that. And I actually lost more die rolls than I once, and I went second a lot. So I feel the logic made sense. So I think main deck is perfect. The only card, so like when I made it, I had like 39 cards. The 40th card was Ghost Mourner. So basically, I tried Trust, Wave. At the end, I decided on Mourner, and it was a good call. For the extra deck, I think it's pretty. How do I say it? I feel like most of the other Marincess players are playing same or similar. The only thing is some are playing Kragan. I don't think that the card is good. Bahamut Shark and Toad is much better. I even felt at one point if I could have a bigger extra deck, I would play double Bahamut Shark. Because the Toad doesn't need to add Marincess monster because you have follow-up anyways, so you can actually add the Toad back, and then turn 3 you can make another Bahamut. And nobody really expects that, and it feels pretty strong. Zealantis was it was really good. It was really good. I've summoned it a lot. And the Marincess Link Force, basically, if you open the field space, you go for the Aqua Argonaut. If not, you go for the Bubble Reef. Oh yeah, and it's very important to note, like, because on some matchups I was grinding a lot. So like when you use up the both blue slugs, the Coral Anemone must bring one blue slug back because you have endless loop there. Blue slug on the next turn, blue slug puts back Coral Anemone. You summon Coral Anemone. When you link it off, you put back blue slug. So like you can just keep repeating that to always have a blue slug in extra deck. Because if you can have stacked graveyard, stacked hand. If you can't make link one, the deck pretty much doesn't do anything. So like the extra deck wise, it was perfect. I knew even before the event that Typhoon came up so much in testing. It came a lot, but you just couldn't really put anything. Now, Splash Mage, in case you open the wave, or in some hands, it's much better to go directly for the Link 4, so Splash Mage was really good. Also, after you use Splash Mage, he's in the graveyard for the turn 3 and turn 5 to revive him with Coral, and then Splash Mage revive something else, and you keep going. Charmer is the, let's call it, weakest card in the extra deck, but it must be there because of the talent. If you talent use the effect, to take their monster, you just have issue to link it off. So like, if you're playing talent, you have to play Charmer. If you're cutting talent, you can cut Charmer as well. I didn't really bring any water monsters with its effect, but I did one cool play against Purely where I had Link 4. I normal summoned Pascalus. I linked both of those into Charmer, crashed into his Zeus, used Charmer effect to search a blue tank, and then I used a Link 3 effect to summon, a Coral and Link 1. Then Coral bring back Pascalus, Pascalus summons blue tank, and all of a sudden, like, I had blue tank in rotation, which I didn't open previously, so I had huge advantage there. So yeah, extra deck, I wouldn't change anything. I think it was perfect. Side deck, as I was saying, it was really bad. Marincess wave was really good. I feel like one in main, one inside, because if you go first, you just put, like, say, one hand trap and out, and you put wave in. Gozen was really good as well. So double Mourner people, I don't think, I think every deck which wants to be competitive has to have 3 Mourners in side deck, if not in the main. Effect negation is super important this format. Double effect negations always win against the Rescue Ace, which is the most popular deck. Also against Purely, it's really good. Triple Bestials is the change I would make. Even though I played against a lot of tournament, the bodies actually don't do anything because you can't really use them to link them off. So, that was just lack of testing because I took the deck 3 weeks before the YCS Bologna. This should have been triple DD Crow, as it would help me win the runic matchups, which I lost and drew one. Feather Duster was good against, and Double Lightning Storm was good as well, because again I played Runic Stun. I actually expected that as well. And Double Trust, that wasn't good at all. I should have played Triple Cosmic Cyclone, again hits Runic, hits any stun deck, good against Flanderies, good against a lot of deck going first, and good against some, there were a lot of Centurion, and that card is really good going second. So obviously, triple Diddy Crow, triple Cosmic definitely in side deck, as well as Typhoon. So like, when you think about this deck, you think like, okay, you have to play everything water because you're waterlogged from the first play. But what ends up happening, you lose the, you go second, you hand trap them a lot, any matchup pretty much, but they always end up on SP. So like you use like 3 or 4 hand traps, and you have like one Marincess monster. You normal summon it. You go into link 1 to search the spell from deck. They use Imperm. They don't have follow up, but they have SP and they're on top deck. So now if you could just slam the Typhoon over Sea Angel and attack over SP, if you have like Veiler or Imper yourself, then all of a sudden they are not really on top deck because you can stop them. That actually, I think like it cost me 2 or 3 games, 2 or 3 games, which I would have won if I had Typhoon in extra deck. So I would definitely put one Typhoon in side deck, and whenever you go second, it can be any deck, just cut Splash Mage and put Typhoon in. That was actually, I think, Typhoon was the biggest mistake for not putting it inside. The second one was the DD Crows, and afterwards Cosmic Cyclone. So regarding the deck and the logic behind it, that's it. I just wanted to add that the deck has insane matchup against Rescue Ace. So like it's very funny. Like whenever I played against opponent, I lost the Dyro, right? And I always prayed, oh please let him play Rescue Ace. That's how good matchup is. And then when I saw normal summon Airlifter, man, it just felt really good. Like you have so many good handship against this deck, and like it's very important to know what to hit. So like because the hand trap is the whole point of this deck, and that's why I managed to top, and that's why I think this is the best deck. It's very important to use them perfectly. So Rescue Ace, I've tested a lot against Unchained, but for some reason I didn't play a single Unchained because the meta is very wide. So, and obviously I didn't really prepare against Runic, and I played too. In Top Cut, I lost versus the Rika. That's actually a good matchup for Marincess as well. I lose the Duel game 1 and I bricked. Game 2 was very fast. He opened double imperm and I opened weaker hand. It was still very easy to win. And game 3 I misused Ashe, and that was the reason I lost. If I just used Ashe properly on solving as I should have. But I was nervous, so I didn't do that. I lost just because of that, but I should have won top 64. So I just wanted to say, like, against meta, like, Tirlament, Manadium, Rescue Ace, the purely, I mean, pretty much any meta deck, the deck just felt really powerful against. And like my losses were, okay, once I bricked, once I misplayed, and Runix. So obviously, I think it was a great meta pick, and I actually couldn't believe I actually watched lots of famous YouTubers, and they were just putting Marincess in like very bad category, while I literally felt this was, I mean, this is definitely better than most of decks which they put in tier 1, and it just showed, like, look how many Unchained you had, and look how bad the conversion rate was for the top cut. While I don't know how many Marincess players were there, maybe like 2 or 3, I don't know, out of YCS had like 2,500 people.
Yeah.
So yeah, Austin, do you maybe have something to add up if you?
No, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, we talked like right before this deck profile. I got a lot of the questions out of the way. I guess I'll ask him again. I asked about 3 dive, if he thought that was good.
Oh yeah, so the issue with triple dive is that if you open one dive and hand trap, it doesn't work. So like you would rather play maximum number of Marincess monsters, which I already do. So like if I were to put another dive in, I would actually have to cut hand trap. But if I'm cutting hand trap down for engine or for engine pieces, or for better pushes, then the whole logic of the deck collapses, because it's very important to open lots of hand traps, not only going second but going first. Even if you go first, if you don't open good amount of hand traps, you will end up like Bahamut Toad and Link 4, which is a negate with field spell. But actually, that doesn't really feel that good. Like sometimes just opening one draw and like mediocre combo was enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. And then, I forget what the other question was, to be honest. Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess,
with Typhoon.
did you ever try like 2 Great Bubble Reef?
Yeah, I actually did. So like again, the extra deck is super tight. I actually was watching your videos, and you said like how Bubble Reef, you needed the second one quite a lot. So I
Mm-hmm.
actually did test it, but I realized that in testing, at least, because I was just getting, everyone is playing so much hand traps. You actually didn't summon Link Force that often.
Mm-hmm.
Turn 1, simply because I got Nibiru like 6 times. I got like double hand trap was almost every game, because everyone is main decking so many. So like it was rather important to have both as option, because if you open field spell and you get to the dive, a negation is always better than the draw. And Bubble Reef, in my opinion, when you go first, is only better if you don't have like field spell already or dive in hand.
Mm-hmm.
And going second, yeah, it did come up like when I use one Bubble Reef in the grind game, if I only had like second, so I can bring something back and continue my plays. But the extra deck is so super tight. Like I wanted to fit Typhoon, I wanted to fit in another Bahamut Shark, and I wanted to fit in another Bubble Reef, but there's nothing to cut really.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, and I also think, I think that, like the 2 Great Bubble Reef was better before when there was less hand traps compared to now. So it definitely makes sense. You're probably not getting the full combo as much.
Yeah.
Um, and then I guess, did you maybe want to play like a Herald of the Abyss with the thrust in the side deck, or did you think you already had enough hand traps for Pearly?
Oh, so I actually had one one of those, and you can see I have one random Cosmic Cyclone. Last minute I cut it for the Cosmic, which actually, looking back, was very obvious. I don't know why I even had the Herald in there. That's why I should have cut Trust as well, because that was another point of the Trust. So like the thing is, you play so many hand traps, like there will never be a point where they get to the XVZ if you open hand trap. Like going like when game 1 you have like, if you lose Dyro you have like Droll, Ash, Whaler, Mourner, Imperm. Game 2 and 3 you add double Mourner as well. It just gets, you know, you will open like 3 hand traps. They will very rarely get to even summon the XVZ. And like if they get to summon XVZ, you know, to draw and it's unaffected, you're losing anyway. Because like even if you trust in Perfect World, you trust they don't have Ash. You search, you send. They don't even have a quick play spell set to summon the Black Cat, so that gets sent. In Perfect World, you're still losing, because they will have lots of hand traps to stop your Marincess combo, and then on the crackback there, they will have like six cards in hand, and you will just lose.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Well, you have anything else you want to add?
So yeah, I actually just wanted to say, so I really do think that this was a good pick. If you're, it's very cheap deck as well. So like if you're playing, you know, not even just locals, but going to regionals or higher event, I would highly recommend playing this deck. I actually didn't play test it that much. When you see like Marincess in Top Cut, you're probably thinking, oh wow, it's probably the guy who plays it, like, you know, since they came. So, but I literally took it 3 weeks before, because the format is so wide. The hardest part was which deck to pick for the YCS. Every deck felt to have like some unwinnable matchups. Some felt really bad going second. Like I like, for example, I don't know, like Rescue Ace, and so like, you know, some of these decks just felt like they would brick sometimes. They felt really awkward going second against Manadium. While this deck, after I've tested literally everything there is, I've took this deck, and it felt like I would lose the die roll. I would go second. I would feel fine with myself, because I knew I would open 2 to 3 hand trap, and I would just stop them. So like, yeah, the deck felt really good. I think it's very how would I say it?
Like
Uh,
undertested?
Undertested. I don't think why people online are giving it such a low credit. As I truly feel it like a few days after I started testing, it just felt really strong.
Do you think it's still gonna be strong after this event? Because you did say,
Definitely.
like, you know, you think Runics might hurt it a little bit, and obviously those are gonna be a lot more popular after Josh winning the event.
Oh yeah, so because Josh won the event, people will actually start respecting Runic again, which at the end will make Runics bad again. So like the same happened with, you know, you had Unchained being so strong, so popular, people expected, everyone was prepared for it, and now on this event Unchained, you know, performed so poorly. And the same is happening with Rescue Ace. Like once something gets popping off, everyone is ready for it, and it just gets weaker. And Josh, his deck, I think it, I think, in my opinion, I think that his deck performed really well because he's such a great player. I think the same deck on anyone other's hands wouldn't perform as well. So like, I think the hype will be gone fast from the Runic.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Alright. Anything else you want to add to this?
Oh, no, that's it. That's it. Thanks for having me over. I just want to add up. I found Marincess. I basically didn't even know much about deck. I actually saw it on DB Grinders videos. I'm pretty competitive myself, but I never like to play the top decks for the event. This was the second YCS I went to. The first one was 4 years ago. I was actually able to top with Magical Musketeer. I'm always like searching a deck which like beats the meta, but I mean it's not the meta deck. So like I felt Marincess was a very good pick, and thank you. You know, DB Grinder, you have a great channel, you know, to watch the videos on.
All right. Well, I appreciate you for saying that, but also, you know, congrats on the top with the deck. I love seeing this deck perform.
Thanks.
And all right, yeah, I think that's gonna be it for the video. All right. With all that being said, the DB Grinders signing off. Peace.